Hello and welcome to this beginner's look at the Affinity Publisher beta program. The version that I'm working on is for the PC. It is 1.7.0.145. This will obviously get updated, but I'm hoping these particular items will not change in future updates. Now I'm going to look at two different Studio tabs. Now, Studio tabs can be found on various points on the screen. For example, you've got on this side you've got Pages and Asset tabs, and on this side you have like colors, swatches, stroke, layers, characters. So they can open on this side of the screen or this side of the screen, and some of them will even open as floating tabs that are not attached anywhere. So the first one I want to look at is the find and replace. Now this one isn't visible in the default settings. You have to sort of make it visible. So you come up to the view menu, down to Studio, and then down to find and replace, and it'll open the tab here on the left. So what this does, it will find a bit of text and replace it with something else. So I've just added this filler text in here, and we're going to assume that I've typed out this marvelous document, but I've misspelt one word quite a few times. So the word I'm going to look for is this N-U-N-C. It is in there a few times. I can't remember exactly how many, but it is in there a few times. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in the word that I want to find, which is N-U-N-C, and then what I want to do to replace it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my own name, and I'm going to click on find, and it will tell you all the places where it has found N-U-N-C, and you could go through and replace like individual occurrences of it happening, or you can just click replace all. So see, my name is there, and it's possibly somewhere else in there. So that's how quickly you can use the find and replace tab. There are various options that you can search for, that you can match the case, uppercase, lowercase, and what have you. And if you click on this, you can magnifying glass. You can look for column breaks or dashes or spaces or all sorts of different things. And again, you can replace it with dashes, spaces, and other things. But I would imagine it's mainly used just to find misspelt words and replace them with the correct spellings. So I'm not going to go in depth to all this. This is about as far as I'm going to go with this particular tab, but it's quite a handy tab to have if you find that you have made quite a few spelling mistakes. So you don't necessarily have to keep this one here all the time. I can get rid of this by just coming back down to Studio and clicking on find and replace to close it. So when this comes back, this will come back, well, on my particular case, it comes back to the Assets tab, which is the other tab I want to look at, because this one here is here all the time. You can turn it off if you don't want it there all the time. Again, you can just come to the View, Studios, and turn off Assets, but it is there by default, so I'm going to leave it there. What I will do is I'm going to let me just add another page here. Add page. Okay. And I'm going to work on this. Let me work on this page 3. That'd be easier. It's a single page. And I'm going to come back to the Assets tab. Now, this may have been shown in other videos, but I really want to more have a look at how you can make your own asset. But first of all, let me just have a quick look at assets for people who haven't really looked at it yet. In the drop down menu up here, by default I think it's iOS 12, but there are some other ones that you can get by default, or you can download from other sources. But basically, if you just wanted this cup here, you just click and drag it onto your document and you have a ready-made logo. So you can do this as many times as you want using whichever asset you want to use. So that's basically how the assets work. But if you do want to make your own one, if you come up to this little sort of hamburger type menu here, you can create a new category. So it will call this assets. In my case it's 2 because I must already have one there, but let me just quickly rename this. So come back to the same menu, rename, and I'm just going to call it Carl Test. So now we need to sort of make a logo, and I'm going to use this asset that I had here earlier. So let me just move this down here, and I will just increase the size of this a bit to about there, and then just come to the let's come to the artistic text, and I'm just going to put that there, and I'm just going to type my name, and sort of this is a sort of an imaginary logo. For some reason it has already sort of put this into a group. So if I select the whole group like that, and then I come up to the menu that's over here, not the one that's above the named category I've made, but the one that's below, and I come down to add from selection, it will make a new asset like in that group. So if I then, let's come effect tool, I'll then drag this on, I can have as many versions of that same logo as many times as you want, because it's always a permanent asset now. Now the other thing is, if you had just selected, say, a group like that, I should select all of them, but it hasn't. There we go, selected all of those now. If you'd done it that way and done add from selection, it adds each section as individual assets, not the whole assets. It needs to be the group that you add as an asset, rather than selecting a whole batch of parts of a group and then adding selection. So you would have to individually make that up again if you wanted to sort of recreate that. Hopefully that makes sense, you understand what I mean. So that's basically how you can quickly make your own assets and save them for future use. And if you're going to use like a logo all the time, you can make it as an asset and just keep using it. Now obviously I've not really gone into this in great depth. I'm just sort of skimming the surfaces of what you can do with both of these studio tabs, but hopefully it gives you an idea of what you can do, and you can explore it a bit more and find out what works for you and what doesn't. Hope this has been of some help. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.